Hello, everyone. I am Peter.
And I'm Emily.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into some real English conversations.
Oh, cool.
To help you learn some useful phrases and idioms. Today, we're going to dive into the world of hobbies.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And to help us explore this, we have an expert in language learning and skill acquisition.
That's me. It's great to be here.
I'm so excited to dive into this topic with you.
Yeah.
Hobbies are such a fascinating part of what makes us human.
I completely agree. They can bring so much joy and enrichment to our lives.
And today, we're going to focus on a specific hobby that many people find both exciting and challenging. Learning to play the guitar.
Ooh, the guitar. That's a classic. It's a fantastic choice.
Absolutely. To kick things off, we have a conversation between two friends, Lisa and Tom.
I always love hearing real-life examples.
Yeah, where Lisa's talking about her experience learning to play the guitar.
That's great.
This will give us some real-world insights into the joys and challenges of picking up a new skill.
I'm eager to hear it. Real conversations can reveal so much about how we approach learning.
Let's listen in.
Hey, Lisa, I heard you've started learning the guitar. How's it going?
It's been really exciting. I've wanted to learn for years, but I never had the time. It's challenging, but I'm enjoying the process.
That's awesome. Learning an instrument can be tough at first. Have you been practicing a lot?
I try to practice every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. I'm still working on building finger strength and learning chords, but it's coming along.
That's the way to do it, slow and steady. Have you learned any songs yet?
Just simple ones like Happy Birthday and some basic melodies. It feels good to see progress, even if it's small.
That's great. The more you play, the more natural it will feel. Are you taking lessons or learning on your own?
I'm using online videos and apps. I like being able to learn at my own pace, but I might take a class later to improve faster.
Sounds like a good plan. Just keep enjoying it. Hobbies should be fun, after all.
So Tom starts by asking Lisa how her guitar learning is going, and she uses the word exciting. 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 It seems like she's really enthusiastic about this new hobby.
Yeah, I love that energy. That initial excitement is often what gets us started on something new. It's that feeling of anticipation and possibility that can be really motivating.
And she also mentions that it's challenging. Challenging. Learning guitar isn't always easy, and it sounds like she's facing some difficulties.
Totally. When we learn something new, we're kind of pushing our brains and bodies to do things they haven't done before. It takes time, and effort to develop those new skills.
Yeah, for sure. But even though it's challenging, Lisa says she's enjoying the process. Enjoying the process. This suggests that she's finding satisfaction in the journey of learning, even if it's not always easy.
That's such a key ingredient for success in any learning endeavor. When we focus on the process and find enjoyment in the small steps we take, we're so much more likely to stick with it and make progress. It's really about the journey, not just the destination.
Totally. Let's hear a bit more of their conversation. Tom admits he found guitar harder than it looks, and Lisa emphasizes the importance of practice. Practice
is essential for developing any skill. Absolutely. It's through consistent effort and repetition that we build muscle memory and improve our abilities.
It's so true. And she specifically mentions working on chords. Chords. Can you explain what chords are for our listeners who might not be familiar with music theory?
Of course. On a guitar, a chord is when you play 3 or more notes together at the same time. Chords are like the building blocks of most songs. They create the harmony and the feeling of the music. They're really fundamental.
Yeah. So even though Lisa is just starting out, she's already focusing on building these fundamental skills. It sounds like she's taking a slow and steady approach. Slow and steady.
That's a wise strategy, especially for beginners. Trying to learn too much too quickly can be overwhelming. It's much more effective to take small steps, master the basics, and gradually build your skills over time.
Let's see what else Lisa has to say about her progress. Lisa is starting to see progress. She mentions being able to play simple songs and melodies. Melodies. It sounds like those small achievements are keeping her motivated.
Absolutely. Seeing progress, even in small increments, can be incredibly motivating. It reinforces the idea that our efforts are paying off and encourages us to keep going. It's like those little wins keep us going.
And when she says melodies, is she talking about the tunes we hear in music?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A melody is a sequence of notes that creates a recognizable tune. It's the part of the music that we often sing along to or that gets stuck in our heads.
Oh, I see. It sounds like even in the early stages of learning guitar, Lisa is already experiencing the joy of making music. She's taking it at her own pace, at my own pace, at my own pace, at my own pace.
That's so important. Learning a new skill should be enjoyable. When we set our own pace and don't feel pressured, we're more likely to stay motivated and engaged in the learning process.
Yeah, I agree. Let's hear the last part of their conversation. Lisa mentions she's using online resources to learn, but she also mentions the possibility of taking lessons at some point. Lessons, lessons, lessons.
That's a great point. There are so many different ways to learn these days. Online resources can be a great starting point, offering flexibility and convenience. But for some people, having the structure and guidance of a teacher can be really helpful.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the person and their learning style. It seems like Lisa is open to exploring different learning approaches and finding what works best for her.
That's a great mindset to have. Learning is a personal journey, and we all have our own preferences and learning styles. What works for one person might not work for another.
So we've heard Lisa and Tom's conversation about Lisa's journey of learning to play the guitar. We've unpacked some key words like exciting, challenging, practice, chords, progress, melodies, lessons, at my own pace, slow and steady, and enjoying the process.
Each of these words gives us valuable insights into the experience of learning a new skill, and they apply to so much more than just playing guitar. They highlight the importance of enthusiasm, patience, persistence, and finding joy in the journey. It's really about the whole experience.
I love how these words can be applied to so many different areas of our lives.
Me too. It's fascinating how much we can learn from something as simple as a conversation about a hobby.
Absolutely. And I think Lisa's experience is a great reminder that learning can be a fun and rewarding journey, no matter what we choose to learn.
Couldn't agree more. I'm excited to see where this deep dive takes us next.
Well, let's take a moment to recap and really dive into these key words and what they mean. We'll start with the word guitar. Guitar, guitar, guitar. It's such a popular instrument, but can you tell us a bit more about what makes it so special?
Sure. A guitar is a musical instrument with strings. You use your fingers to press down on the strings and then either pluck the strings with your fingers or strum them with a pick. Guitars come in different shapes and sizes and can create a wide variety of sounds. It's a very versatile instrument.
Oh, wow. It's fascinating how many different sounds you can get from just one instrument.
I know, right? And that's one of the things that makes learning guitar so exciting.
Speaking of exciting, exciting, exciting. Lisa used that word to describe her experience learning guitar. What is it about learning something new that creates that feeling of excitement?
Well, think about it. When we start something new, we're stepping outside of our comfort zone. We're opening ourselves up to new possibilities and challenges. That can be a little bit scary, but it's also incredibly exciting. It's like embarking on an adventure.
I love that analogy, learning as an adventure. And speaking of adventures, they often come with challenges, right? Lisa also mentioned that learning guitar is challenging.
Challenging. That's true. Learning any new skill takes effort and dedication. There will be times when you feel frustrated or discouraged, but those challenges are actually a good thing.
How so?
Well, when we face challenges, our brains have to work harder. They have to form new connections and adapt to new information. This process of overcoming challenges actually helps our brains grow and become more resilient.
So it's like our brains are getting a workout too.
Exactly. And just like with physical exercise, the more we challenge our brains, the stronger, more capable they become.
That's a great way to look at it. And Lisa seems to be embracing those challenges. She talked about the importance of practice. Practice. Practice.
Practice. Practice is essential for developing any skill. It's through consistent effort and repetition that we start to see real improvement. It's how we get better at anything.
Can you give us an example of how practice works in the context of learning guitar?
Sure. Let's say you're learning to play a new chord on the guitar. At first, it might feel awkward and uncomfortable. Your fingers might not want to cooperate. But the more you practice placing your fingers in the right positions and strumming the strings, the smoother and more effortless it becomes.
So it's like training your fingers to do something new.
Exactly. And over time, that repeated practice becomes muscle memory. Your fingers will just know where to go without you even having to think about it.
That's incredible. And Lisa mentioned she's been practicing chords. Chords.
Yeah.
Chords. Chords. We touched on this earlier, but can you explain a bit more about why chords are so important in guitar playing?
Chords are the foundation of harmony in music. They create the richness and depth of the sound. When you play different chords in a sequence, you create what's called a chord progression, and that's what gives a song its structure and feeling.
So it's like chords are the building blocks of music.
That's a great way to put it. They're essential.
And as Lisa practices those chords, she's starting to see progress. Progress.
Seeing progress is so important for motivation. It gives us a sense of accomplishment and encourages us to keep going. It's like a little reward for our hard work.
What are some ways that Lisa might be noticing her progress on the guitar?
Well, she mentioned being able to play simple songs and melodies. That's a huge milestone for a beginner guitarist. It means she's starting to put those chords together and create music. She might also be noticing that her fingers are getting stronger and more agile, or that she can switch between chords more quickly and smoothly. These are all really positive signs.
Those are all great signs of progress. And it sounds like playing those melodies is particularly rewarding for her.
Melodies are the heart of music. They're the parts that we hum or sing along to. They're what make music memorable and emotionally engaging.
And being able to play even simple melodies on the guitar must be a really satisfying feeling.
Oh, absolutely. It's a tangible sign of your progress and a reminder of how far you've come. It's a really great feeling.
Lisa mentioned that she's learning at her own pace, at my own pace. At my own pace. Why is it important to learn at your own pace, especially when it comes to something like playing an instrument?
Learning should be enjoyable, not stressful. When we set our own pace, we're not comparing ourselves to others or feeling pressured to keep up. We can focus on the process and take the time we need to master each step.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about focusing on your own individual journey.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that everyone learns at their own pace. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's all about finding what works best for you.
Tom encouraged Lisa to take a slow and steady approach. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. That seems to be a recurring theme in Lisa's approach to learning guitar.
It's a wise approach. Trying to learn too much too quickly can lead to burnout and frustration. It's much more sustainable to take small steps and gradually build your skills over time.
So it's like the fable of the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly. Consistency and persistence are key.
And perhaps most importantly, Lisa emphasized that she's enjoying the process. Enjoying the process. Enjoying the process. Enjoying the process.
That's fantastic. When we enjoy the process of learning, we're more likely to stick with it, even when it gets challenging.
Why is that?
Well, when we find something enjoyable, our brains release dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. So when we enjoy the process of learning, our brains are essentially rewarding us for our efforts, which makes us want to keep learning. It's like a positive feedback loop.
So it's like our brains are giving us a high five every time we learn something new and enjoy it.
You could say that. And that positive reinforcement helps create a positive feedback loop that keeps us motivated and engaged in the learning process.
I love how we're connecting these everyday words to some really fascinating insights about how our brains work.
It's all connected. Understanding how our brains learn can help us approach learning in a more effective and enjoyable way. It's all about working with our brains, not against them.
I think we've covered a lot of ground here. We've explored the meaning of key words like guitar, exciting, challenging, practice, chords, progress, melodies, lessons, at my own pace, slow and steady, and enjoying the process. And we've connected those words to some really interesting concepts about learning and skill acquisition.
It's been a great discussion so far, and I think Lisa's experience offers some valuable lessons for anyone who's interested in learning something new, whether it's playing an instrument, speaking a new language, or developing any other skill.
It's really about the journey, isn't it?
It really is. The journey of learning is just as important as the destination.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And I think it's something we can all keep in mind as we continue to explore our own passions and interests.
Absolutely. So what's next on our deep dive?
Well, I think it's time to shift gears a little bit and talk about another important aspect of learning, and that's motivation. But first, let's take a quick break. It seems like the key takeaway here is that learning a new skill like playing guitar can be both exciting and challenging, but ultimately incredibly rewarding.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the end goal. It's about the journey, the process of learning and growing along the way.
And what I find so inspiring about Lisa's story is that she's not letting the challenges discourage her. She's embracing them as part of the process.
Exactly. She understands that challenges are opportunities for growth. And by focusing on the process and finding joy in the small victories, she's setting herself up for success.
So what does this all mean for you, dear listener? What small step can you take today to begin or continue your own journey of learning and growth? Maybe it's picking up that guitar that's been gathering dust in the corner, or maybe it's something completely different. The important thing is to find something that sparks your curiosity and brings you joy.
And remember, you don't have to be an expert or have any prior experience. The beauty of learning is that it's a journey that anyone can embark on at any time.
We've had a blast unpacking this topic with you today, and we hope you've gained some valuable insights into the world of hobbies and skill acquisition. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. So we're back and ready to dive a little deeper into this idea of motivation.
Yeah, motivation is so crucial when it comes to learning anything new. It's what keeps us going when things get tough.
Right, because let's face it, learning can be challenging. There are going to be times when we feel frustrated or discouraged.
Absolutely, and that's where motivation comes in. It's that inner drive that helps us push through those challenges and keep moving forward.
So where does motivation come from? Is it something we're born with, or is it something we can develop?
That's a great question, and the answer is both. Some people are naturally more motivated than others. They have that kind of go-getter personality. But even if you're not naturally a highly motivated person, there are definitely things you can do to cultivate and strengthen your motivation.
That's encouraging to hear. So what are some practical tips for boosting our motivation?
Well, one thing that really helps is setting clear and achievable goals. When we have a specific target in mind, it's easier to stay focused and motivated.
So instead of just saying, I want to learn to play guitar, I might set a goal like, I want to be able to play 3 chords by the end of the month.
Exactly. That's much more specific and measurable. And when you achieve that goal, it gives you a sense of accomplishment and motivates you to keep going.
That makes sense. What are some other things we can do to stay motivated?
Another important strategy is to find a learning approach that works for you. We all have different learning styles, so what motivates one person might not work for another.
Yeah, some people might thrive in a structured classroom setting, while others might prefer to learn at their own pace using online resources.
Right. It's all about finding what resonates with you and makes you feel excited about learning.
And I think it's also important to surround yourself with supportive people who encourage you and believe in your ability to learn.
Absolutely. Having a supportive network can make a huge difference. It's great to have people to share your progress with, celebrate your successes, and help you through those challenging moments.
And sometimes just talking to someone about your goals can help you stay accountable and motivated.
Definitely. And don't be afraid to seek out mentors or role models, people who have already achieved what you're striving for.
Seeing someone else succeed can be incredibly inspiring and motivating.
Absolutely. It shows you that it's possible and gives you a roadmap to follow.
So to recap, we've talked about the importance of setting clear goals, finding a learning approach that works for you, surrounding yourself with supportive people, and seeking out inspiration from mentors or role models.
Those are all great strategies for boosting your motivation and setting yourself up for success in your learning journey.
And remember, learning is a lifelong adventure. It's never too late to start something new and pursue your passion.
That's so true. And the more we learn, the more we grow, and the more fulfilling our lives become.
Well, I think that's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive, and we'll see you. Until next time, happy exploring, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give it a thumbs up.
Let us know in the comments what new words you learned today.
Yes.
And feel free to suggest topics for our next video.
Until then, keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep embracing the wonderful messiness of learning and growing.